So, it's Ashfur. We all kind of knew this, but a part of me was like very much expecting the errands to actually be like, so it turns out it's Darktail. He had this big secret crush on Squirrelflight all along, and he wants to take over. He wants to get back at the clans. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like that's something they would pull, and just throughout the like, oh yeah, this evil spirit. Oh, he's obsessed with squirrel flight. Oh, he has blue eyes. Oh, he's gray. I was like, it's Ashfur, but they're gonna fuck this up, aren't they? But so far, with the Darkness Within preview, obviously, spoilers for that. It's on the website. Um, with the preview, I'm impressed. I it was kind of cathartic seeing it actually be confirmed and being like, yes, it's Ashfur, and I'm kind of living for it. I don't know. I think like this will probably be my favorite arc because Vision of Shadows was my favorite arc, and then they kind of did that to it, so it's like, ugh. But the thing is that they killed off Darktail like end of Shattered Sky, and they clearly had no idea what to do next. And it's book four, and we're still going with the same guys, so I have hope that they won't like run out of ideas because that is a very common issue. Is that these books like past otherwise than like other than the prophecies begin, all of these books seem to be like they want to be in a 3 book trilogy, but they're all stretched out to 6 books. And so what happens is you have like something that's wrapped up in 3 books, and then the author's scrambling to put in another plot for the rest of the books, like um in New Prophecy and Vision of Shadows and Dawn of the Clans, or we have just this vague idea for like the final part ish, but otherwise no overarching plot besides just the very, very, very slow build up for that, as in Power 3 and Omen of the Stars with the Dark Forest stuff. So, the way that this series is going, with it seeming to keep this plot thread of like, we can't access StarClan and Ashfur is here type, I have hope for them that they aren't gonna fucking. I did it again! I have hope that they aren't gonna pull. I have hope that they aren't gonna pull that again, and I'm really excited for it. And I think like my suspension of disbelief is just kind of gone. It's just like, well, that's not really realistic. So like you're telling me that this dead ghost cat is possessing this guy? He stole his body. That's really weird. That's unrealistic. I don't even care about that anymore. Because deep in my little monkey brain, it's just like, ooh, ooh, tasty plot, ooh, ooh, it's so dramatic. Because, like, I we don't really know what's going to happen. Because this really feels kind of like an ultimate thing of, like, completely reevaluating what the Warrior Code means, reevaluating how necessary StarClan is. It's not just like, oh no, big bad villain. Is he gonna take over the clans? No, no, it's not. There's always this like thing in the back of your head where you know they're gonna win. Things are gonna be somewhat the same, right? The Dark Forest battle, like, oh my god, who's gonna win? These like 20 cats from hell, or the like 200 in the clans, and then also in StarClan. Oh my god, what are they gonna do when they defeat the clans? Are they gonna like, oh yay, like what is their end goal besides like, oh yeah, we kill them, and then they join StarClan, so you gotta like double kill them, so that takes a lot of work, and then what? We all kind of know it's like, yeah, no, they aren't gonna win. They're the bad guys, but obviously I'm sure. That's the thing. I was like, oh, Bramblestar's probably gonna come back, but honestly, I'm not even sure. He might not, and I'm really excited for that because I don't like Bramblestar. I would love. I would kill a man for Squirrel Fight to become leader. I would have said Ivy Pool, but they kind of just as as they do with like almost every main character except for Squirrel Flight, as soon as the arc isn't focused on them, it's just kind of like, okay, you're your mom. And they even did that with Squirrel Flight, but now that she's having more focus again, like she's getting more potential, I would love for her to become leader. I want it to happen. And it was weird seeing how they were kind of having Bristlefrost be the whole deputy. Like I don't know if they're trying to go for like a leader thing with that, but I'm like, that's a baby. That's a baby right there. But I am off topic. What was I saying? I mean, so it feels like Bramblestar's probably gonna come back. They're gonna defeat Ashfur. They're gonna bring back StarClan. But I'm much more uncertain of that than like, oh man, who's gonna win the battle? Is it Blood Clan? Is it the Dark Forest? Is Brambleclaw gonna give in to like the evil? Like, yeah, we know who's gonna win, but here we don't actually know if StarClan is gonna have the same role as it used to, or if the code is going to remain how it is. Because I think what they're hinting at with the bristle root thing, which, alright, I guess, is that, like, yeah, forbidden relationships are kind of stupid, logically, but I also don't know if the Errands are the type to actually get rid of that because, and the reason why I do like it, it's that sexy, sexy drama of the, oh, forbidden romance, oh, we can't be together. Like, the whole thing between, like, and I talked about this in the other video, talked about how, like, there is that thing of, like, oh man, do I have to fight my kids in another clan? And that is the thing. The medicine cat thing makes no sense. There's not even a single excuse. But what if I have more priority for my kids? What if I can't take care of my kids? There are like five different queens. There are like 100 cats in ThunderClan that can just watch your kids for you. It's not a big deal. And I do like that tension a lot, but yeah, it makes no logistical sense. And the cats themselves are starting to realize that it's like, hey, this is kind of dumb. And so I'm feeling like the Errands might go that route and like just have the cats be like, hey, let's not have this be forbidden because it's counterproductive and really stupid. However, that would be getting rid of the drama factor. But if this is trying to serve as like a soft reboot, if we get a series after this, I would like to, like, if the way of clan life changes drastically after this, I would be really interested to see what else they could come up with besides, oh, forbidden relationships. Oh, because yeah, we've had that before, and I think that there are a lot of ways that you could go about that originally, in original fashion. But I don't think they're gonna. They haven't really. They haven't really touched on. I mean, kind of. Tiger Dove. Forgot about those guys. And now, yeah, no, I just like. I don't know. My first thought was like Leaf Crow, Blue Oak. I don't know those. I think it's yeah. I don't know. Call me like a Gen 1 or like, oh, I like the logic of the first books better. I don't know. I think it's just those arcs are much more memorable to me. But I'm going so off topic. I was like, oh yeah, I'm gonna talk about Ashfur, and I just went off topic. So yeah, it's the ADDs. But honest on the whole Ashfur thing, going back to that, I forget what I was even trying to start this video with saying about Ashfur. But I saw it coming, as almost all of us did. The Errands did not make it as this big twist, which I'm thankful for. Because again, if they twisted and be like, "Oh, it's actually Darktail," I would have lost my shit. I would have just stopped. I would have stopped reading Weary Cats. I would have been so mad. But no, it's clearly Ashfur, and they've confirmed it as such. And I really love that decision because, yeah, now I remember how I got onto that other subject. It's just like, it's just, it's batshit insane, and I cussed on purpose that time. It's just crazy. They're just like, screw all this. Ghost possession now. Just do it. that's what I would write when I was 12 in my little fan fictions, my little stories of like, oh yeah, possessed by evil demon. Oh no. Like the errands are like, yeah, let's do that. And I'm kind of living for it. I don't know. And it helps a lot with Ashfur's arc, I think, because he's like, I love too much. And then he gets in StarClan. And okay, very, very tiny tangent. In Great Stripes Val, they're like total, and in how they describe Ashford in the preview, they really try to make him seem to be a dick, but I don't think they didn't really build it up that well in the main series when they were writing it because it was a long time ago, and I understand that. But now in retrospect, all these cats are like, yeah, Ashford was kind of a dick, wasn't he? Like he wasn't really, but I digress. What was he? What was he saying? Hold on, hold on. I completely forgot. After like, okay, they kind of they had this whole thing go as like Ashfur Ashfur traps him in the fire, and then he's immediately murdered, and then he sees like Jay Feather sees him in StarClan. There's no confrontation. Yell things like, yeah, he just loved too much. It's okay. And then in the next time we see him at all, I think is in Squirrel Fights Hope, and Squirrel Fight sees Hollyleaf, and then there's like Ashfur in the distance, and he kind of like nods at her and walks away, but they don't really talk. And then Squirrel Fight's like, "Hey, what's up with that?" Because like, that was the whole thing. And Hollyleaf's like, "Oh yeah, we don't hold grudges here." I'm just like, bullshit, you don't. I, yeah, right, okay. And I kind of could tell. It's like, okay, something's up with that. There's no way that Ashford's just gonna be like, oh yeah, hey, what's up? And that like he and Hollyleaf are gonna forgive each other. No way. And I'm so glad that I was correct on that. That it wasn't just like, yeah, no, Ashford's just he did just love too much. Oh no. And I don't know how far the Errands were planning for Warriors to go, which is kind of why I guess it depends for me. Because, say, if they were going to end on Omen of the Stars, maybe they were kind of intending, like, oh yeah, Ashfur was a nice guy. He just loved too much, and now he's in StarClan. The end. And so I don't know if it's in a way to correct that due to how we see him as like normal people being like, that's not right, or if it's just them looking back and being like, oh ew. But I think the Errands are kind of realizing like, yeah, that is kind of stupid that he's just like, oh yeah, he's okay now. He's in StarClan and everything's okay. I really appreciate that they're having this whole thing of like, yeah, no, he he was evil the whole time, and that opens a lot of doors. I'm like, so were trials a thing back then? Did Ashfur have a trial, or did they start having trials after Ashfur? Because they thought about it, was like, yeah, maybe we should like try to see which cats can actually come in here. There's also like, what is it like in StarClan? How do cats see Ashfur? How does Ashfur see other cats? Does he actually lose his resentments on? Because in the prologue of the Darkness Within preview, Leaf was talking, was like, oh yeah, well, yeah, everyone's kind of forgiven me about the whole thing. I was like, okay, I guess. But this kind of leads into a whole thing where it's like, I don't think all these cats are just forgiving each other. I don't think, and I think that would be really boring if everyone died and they're like, oh yeah, we're chill now. I think that, I think that in Ashford's case, especially, that he had a lot of underlying resentment, and they talk as if they sent him down, so they let him down to go back to the living world, and he purposely just said fuck. He purposely just kind of messed with them and ruined the connection with StarClan. And so I guess I don't. I'm not entirely sure if that would be a split second decision on his part or not. I also forget where I was going with this before. Bear with me, guys. This is why I should scripts, but I don't. I can't think about it, but again, on the whole split second thing, because so obviously it's not technically written out, but we know that Ashfur and Hawkfrost met up and they had this decision that like Ashfur is gonna lure Firestar to the fox trap. But with how he runs back to camp, I believe they say that they followed his fear scent, and so far, like before this arc, I've kind of felt like Ashfur is very passive and he takes advantage of the situations that are given to him. Hawkfrost comes up and says, "Hey, I'm gonna kill Firestar. You in?" And Ashfur's like, "Yeah, I can work with this." Or the forest catches on fire and the three and Scrollfight are all trapped, and he's like, "Yeah, I can work with this." So I'm starting to think that like I don't know if it's a split second decision where the StarClan cats are like, "Hey, go back down there," and he's like, "Yeah, I can work with this," and then just suddenly decides to turn, or if he's just been working behind the scenes, holding onto this hatred and revenge, just working and like trying to make himself look as good as he can, so that the StarClan cats trust him, and he's like, "Okay, here we go," because the way he's written in this preview and in the arc as a whole, he does seem much more of a mastermind. And I don't know if that's a retcon or not, or if he isn't actually a mastermind. And like I said, he's just passive and taking opportunities as he gets them. In any case, I'm obsessed. I love him as a villain. I hate him as a person. As I said, I think he's a horrible, horrible, disgusting person. I hate his whole obsession with Scrollfight because it's true. He doesn't love her. It's an obsession. It's a control thing. He wants to possess Scrollfight. He wants to have control over her, and he wants her as in like, this makes me happy. This is not someone I love and want to take care of, and I want her to feel good and have a happy life with me. I want her to make me happy, is what his thought process clearly is, which is disgusting and horrible. And I love it. That is my favorite villain thing. It's just so refreshing because even at least Darktail, and because he's one of my favorite villains too. It's like Darktail and Ashfur. Darktail at least had this like obsession with kin. It's not just he wants power. It's not just a revenge. Oh, I'm so mad my dad rejected me. But it's this whole thing of like building a whole ass cult. I did it again. Just building a whole cult, and he's brutal and ruthless as well as the whole power thing. And Tiger Star and Scourge are obviously just icons with the whole power and revenge thing, so I can't really go off on that. But like people like Mudclaw, Breezepelt, Slash, I think his name is, in like the end of Dawn of the Clans after they kill off One Eye and they're like, oh god, we still need an antagonist. It's just kind of like, ooh, yes, power. There's a lot of those types of cats in warriors, like those types of antagonists. They're just like, oh yes, I want to take over the forest. Ooh, yes, maybe I'm also like kind of angsty about this one thing, but I want power. But Ashfur is like this maniac that's like, I want to make, and he explains that he wants everyone to suffer because he knows that'll hurt Squirrelfight more. It's because Squirrelfight cares about other people. If he can hurt her, that's one thing. But if he hurts everyone and makes it feel like it's her fault, if she has to watch everything fall apart around her, that would be much more painful to her than him just hurting her. Just her having to live with that, how everything that's going bad is her fault, is the perfect punishment for her. Which also, kind of leads into, I think he's been thinking this through, but it's it's so refreshing. And it's true, he's like, it's very clear he's driven off of emotions when in the preview, Squirrelflight just, and this scene just kind of like chilled me. She like, she fakes, seduce isn't the right word, but she was like flirting with him. It was like, oh, I always loved you more, let's run away together. And you could see like he let his guard down, full stop, completely believes her. And that just, Like, jeez, I get chills just thinking about it. He was so ready to be like, yeah, okay, if she loves me, then yeah, I'm not gonna do this revenge anymore. If I can have Squirrel fight, then I will. But as soon as that fell apart, and it's described, he has hurt in his voice when he's like, "You've lied to me." And he's not just angry at first, he's hurt because he completely fell for that. He's very driven off emotions. It's not just revenge, but he still has this really messed up idea that he loves her. He doesn't actually. He just not, those feelings aren't love, they're obsession, it's manipulation, it's abuse. But he wholeheartedly believes that he loves her and he has this obsession, this need for her. And it's just kind of awesome. I'm gonna cut this off short because I gotta go, but I might make another part for this. Also, this video is 20 minutes, so Ashfur, baby.